This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Hello, welcome to Emma's podcast. In today's podcast, what are we going to be talking about? That's the question of the year right now. What are we going to be talking about? So, let's talk about what? It is Monday. So, what are we talking about today? So, today we are stepping into a space that both humbles and transform us. The space of not knowing. I know a lot of people have a hard time with this one because being in the unknown is, I'm moving my microphone, so I'm making some noises, readjusting everything here in that little space that I have. So being in the unknown is one of the most daunting things that people can ever do, and it's very difficult for people to just realize that we might be in a situation where it isn't as fun than we want it, but it doesn't mean that we got to be in a bad position. So the place where certainty dissolves and we are left standing in the vast open unknown. This episode is called Dancing with Uncertainty, Finding Grace in the Unknown. Let's get started. So, life doesn't always give us a clear map, and this is what we are supposed to experience. Okay, if we have the map, we are learning nothing. I had a conversation with Sammy. In case you're asking who Sammy is, we do the Sea Show by the Sea. We call it the Sea Show by the Sea. And Sammy is my live co-host as well. I love Sammy to death. He's my brother from another mom and dad. But we were talking about that dance, that uncertainty, and how uncomfortable it is for people to be in the uncertainty. And when you realize that before you're born, you choose whatever you believe, it doesn't matter, but you choose your life lessons. You choose what you need to learn in these life lessons. And sometimes you're going to have to catch up with the entire enchilada. Been there and I'm doing it. I've been there and done that. But it's very interesting that at the time of birth, we don't even recall. That's the game of life, because if we had all of the solutions, all of the answers, what not to do, then we are not learning our life lessons. And we talked about that, and it was quite interesting to have that conversation with him. So, sometimes it hands us fog instead, and that's what we are in most of our lifetime when we're learning life lessons, when we're going through the unknown, through the changes, and it asks us to keep walking, which is one of the most and the hardest things ever for most people. I'm laughing because been there, done that, where you just have to go and walk in the unknown, and this is where you get actually your faith. You believe in your faith. You follow your compass. And we often crave answers, timeline, guarantees. We want to know how things will unfold, how long it will take, that will be me, what the outcome will be. But how long? Can you give me the shorter version? No, Emma. We're always going to give you the longer one because for some reason you need the longer one. You need your opinion. It's like, no, I don't. At the end of the day, I would like the shorter answer than the dramatic one because God wins the win. On repeat, it is not that fun. I'm telling you, it isn't. But life, in its mysterious wisdom, withholds clarity, believe it or not, and not to punish us, but to deepen our trust in the unfolding, in the unknown, in the faith. Uncertainty is not the enemy we've been taught to fear. It is the quiet, sacred space where all possibilities are born. This is what we're talking about. So, think for a moment where your plans fell apart. It could have been a job that, the offer did not come. Then you receive instead, then you're feeling it like, yes, I'm getting this one. And then you receive the opposite of welcoming to no thanks pass. A relationship that's ending. The dream shifted from the White House with the white picket fence to now let's go in a canoe and try to navigate the raging river that is our lives. So it's in those moments we meet the raw edge of life, the parts we can't control. And yet, somehow, those moments carve us into who we are meant to become. This is the paradox. This is the oxymoron in the entire story. It is to go into the unknown, ready to get going. There is an old saying, faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the staircase. But what if life isn't asking you to climb, but to dance? Yay! So imagine you're standing on the dance floor, the lights dim, the music unfamiliar. You don't know the rhythm, you don't know the step. Your mind wants structures, but your soul whispers, just feel it. And what do you do at that time? You close your eyes and you start to feel the music, the dance. And that's what dancing with uncertainty feels like. It's awkward at first, vulnerable, exposed. But as you move, as you let go of trying to perfect the rhythm, you begin to find your own. This is the amazing part, the craziness, the madness into all of this. And a lot of people don't understand that. But it is so empowering when you understand how the dance works. I mean, maybe or maybe not. It all depends. But you have to practice. You have to get going. You have to move forward. Well, some people will go backwards, but it is required of us to move forward. But this is where your belief, this is where you have to trust the process. And Sonia, that was Sonia Choquette just said that. I remember she was talking to us and just said, you have to trust yourself. You have to trust the process. You have to trust God or whomever you call it above. Trust. And that sounds crazy because most of us have a tendency to want to take control of everything. We need to make sure. And it's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. On this one, you don't. You're going to listen to the rhythm and you're going to move as you're supposed to, letting the control not taking over you, but relinquish the control and learn to dance a different way. So, you have to think about the nature of uncertainty. Uncertainty is often arrives like a storm. It doesn't say, we'll send you a letter and we'll send you the warning and then we're going to let you adjust to it. No. That's not how it works. It comes like a freaking storm. A category 4 tornado or even 5 or 6. It disrupts what we thought was stable. It will put your life freaking upside down. It will shake loose what we thought we needed. And yet, storms don't come to destroy us at all. They come to clear the air, which is a big paradox when you think about it. It's like, well, we could avoid it. Just let me know what you need. No, you're never going to drop it, so we're going to make you drop it. We live in a world that glorifies control. And actually, it's the wrong thing to think of because we plan, we schedule, we strategize, but we fill every blank space with something that hold on to. But control isn't often, and control is often an illusion, one that keeps us from the art of allowing us. So when we can sit with uncertainty without forcing it to resolve or to be resolved, we begin to access a deeper wisdom. Yes, we do. And we stop asking, what's next? And start asking, okay, what is this moment teaching me? What else? What did I learn here? Did I close the door? Did I repeat the same thing? What did I do? This brings us actually the awareness, which is one of the biggest things we can ever learn in our life is the awareness. Awareness of where we are, awareness of our patterns, awareness of fill out the blank. And you have to think after that about the dance between fear and faith, because we've been taught, and this is what I think was the hardest part for me as a kid. We love our routine. We're all creature of habits. We all have our own pattern, our own habits. We want our routine. Routine is an illusion, actually. Routine is a big, fat illusion. But we need this because this is how we've been brought up. You need to go to school, you need to be there, blah, blah, blah. So we try to put everything into a little block. But that little blocks is just a freaking illusion. And when you start to learn to be flexible, when you start to learn to be outside of that box, then you actually start to live your life to the fullest. You have the freedom to decide what you want to do. You're not based on a schedule, but on the rhythm of your life in general. It makes such a huge difference. You go to school, and then when I went and started to work for the Club Med, I know I'm not talking about the Club Med for years on this one, but when you start to work for the Club Med, it was structure without the structure as well. Dealing a different way with people, doing different things that were outside of the norms, working long hours, because it was about 12, 13 hours we were working a day, 7 days a week actually. It wasn't like you got a weekend. Or if you could escape a few hours, you'd be lucky, or you had to figure it out this one. But it was very interesting because he was working a different way. And he was seeing things a different way, not outside of the box completely, but one foot outside, one foot in. You still had to follow a couple of things, but that was very interesting. I think the most interesting part for me, and it's a blessing, was when I moved in and started my business. I said, I'm going to start my business. That changed everything. That put my world upside down because uncertainty of, am I going to get a paycheck? I don't know, but better to be because I got a mortgage to pay, I got this to pay, I have to take care of my pop-ups. So there were a lot of things at play. Having your life put upside down, and 2023 was the pure example of no income, had to fight for your life, had to deal with the loss of my anchor, my bro, exiting a terrible... And by the way, I'm not blaming that individual either because they were two to tango. That was him and me. But getting out of a very bad relationship and the condo burned down. So that was the cherry on the top of the cake. It's like, okay, well, I think I got everything that could have been possibly done was done that year. And in the midst of everything, in the midst of losing my mind, my footing, going through the dark night of the soul, going through such a terrible ordeal, finding calm in the middle of the storm, finding moments of peace and serenity to move into pure darkness, meaning it wasn't only the dark night of the soul, but where am I going to be tomorrow is the past. Where are we going to go? And these relied on the faith that everything's going to turn out the way it's supposed to be, seeing the bigger picture and understanding how the pieces of the puzzle, aka people, situation, unraveled. And that to me was one of the biggest things that ever happened to me. But it was so powerful to be able to look at it and say, holy crap, this was what it was. Now I understand better the life of 1,000. Now I understand better everything that has been happening. But it's understanding and really leaning on the faith, on that storm that came and blew everything into pieces, understanding that everything blew up in order to be reshaped a different way. And there were a lot of, I would say, healing to go through the process as well. It wasn't only one thing, but it was the healing as well. So when you have the understanding of this and really feeling that, oh, this is how it works, and have that faith, it was a blessing. But understanding that it wasn't there to destroy me, well, yes, it was at some level, because I can guarantee the dark night of the soul wasn't there to say, woohoo, and I was just said, okay, you got a choice, you can have an exit here, and we're going to make sure we're going to take you down as much as we can take. But the transformation at the end of the day was amazing. So taking all of this and understanding that I can sit with uncertainty without forcing it to resolve. I can move and I can begin to access a deeper wisdom. Everything that we want to control is a freaking illusion. And a lot of people are so focused on that because they think, oh, if I control this, then I am safe. No, you're not. Nobody is safe, actually. There is no safety here until you understand walking into uncertainty is your safe passage to where you need to be. Is it comfortable? Absolutely not. That would be a freaking lie if somebody says it's comfortable. No, it's not. But you get to learn and to really push yourself where you need to be. So we can sit again with the uncertainty and not forcing it. We stop asking what's next because seriously, you're looking at what you have done and you utilize every single skill set you've got. That to me is beautiful. The dance between fear and faith, this is again a delicate balance between fear and faith. And the reason is we get the fears from our DNA, from generational lineage, mom and dad. We get the fear of the world that is moving and changing at a rapid pace, and people are being actually right now receiving more fear to distract them, to really break people down. Because fear tightens us. Faith opens solution path. Fear said, what if everything falls apart? The end of the world of Armageddon is right here, right now. Everybody gets covered. But the faith whispers, what if all falls into places? What if everything you've been doing so far is going to shape you right here, right now, and everything's going to come together in a way that is supposed to happen? It's not about erasing fear. It's about learning to move with it and be comfortable with it, not letting it taking over our life. I was sharing this, I think that was last weekend, with Sammy, and we talked, and I talked to other people as well. I said, yeah, by February, I was Luda actually. I was talking with her, and I said, you know, In February, I flipped out a switch. I was so much in fear, I felt like we were going back to the Germany of 1939 to 1945. And I'm like, this was horrible. But that fear, because of what was being bombarded online on social media, was to pressure people and make them live in fear until you pull the plug and say, F it, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to unplug from everywhere, and I'm going to start to grow myself again, which I did. And then that fear disappeared. That fear wasn't leading my life. When you understand this, you need to really move into the right direction. Like a dance partner who steps on your toes at first, fear can be clumsy, but over time, if you listen closely, you begin to understand its reason. And faith, on the other hand, is the still voice that says, keep going. Even when the ground feels unsteady, even when the music changes, the dance, that beautiful, gorgeous dance of uncertainty becomes beautiful when we stop resisting and start trusting. And that is one of the biggest things, is trusting the process. Even if we don't see anything coming to fruition, trust it. So finding grace in the unknown. Let's talk about this, because we can show up, but not in a good way either. So grace is the quiet acceptance that not everything needs to be solved right now, one problem at a time, one step at a time. It's the depth of breath that says, I don't have all the answers, but I am here. And the reason why is because when we're moving forward, we're changing things in our outer conditions. So if everything was done set in stone, then we'll be moving like on a conveyor belt and be experiencing everything. But we have our own free will. So we modify things along the way. And that's why grace is in, and we release the need to fix, or instead we choose to flow. We become gentle with ourselves in a process of becoming. To find grace in uncertainty, practice small ritual of grounding. That's what it is. Breathe slowly when anxiety rises, so breathe in peace and exhale negativity and anxiety. Journal without censoring your thoughts. Let your fear and hope share the same page. Remind yourself that endings are often disguised beginnings. Grace transforms uncertainty into an art. It teaches us to bow to what is and trust what's coming. That's the key. And as we close today, this podcast, I invite you to take a deep breath. You inhale and imagine yourself standing before the vast unknown. Exhale and release the need to control it. Let your heart whisper, I may not know the way, but I am willing to dance. Uncertainty is not a punishment, it's a passageway, a sacred invitation to discover what you're made of when the map disappears. So the next time life feels unclear, remember this, you are not lost, you are learning the choreography of your own becoming. Until next time, keep dancing, keep trusting, and keep finding grace in the unknown. All my love, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.